What does power look like when the entire world turns away? Not the power on a stage, not the power behind a podium, but the kind that moves in silence, hidden behind armored doors, private tunnels, and ghost trains with no listed destination. Tonight, we enter a realm very few have ever seen. A world where the clocks run differently, where palaces are built for one man's footsteps, and where entire government structures bend around his breath. This is the private life of Vladimir Putin, the man who controls the world's largest landmass, the man who commands a nuclear arsenal powerful enough to erase continents, the man who lives in secrecy so deep that even his location on any given day is a state secret. No matter what you think of him, you cannot deny the scale of his world. So today, we pull back the velvet curtain. Not on the man the cameras show you, but on the man who wakes behind fortified walls, swims alone in a private pool deep inside a palace, travels on an armored train no civilian has ever boarded, and works inside cloned offices so identical that no one can know where he actually is. This is what a private day in Putin's life might actually look like. Prepare yourself, because once you enter this world, you won't see global power the same way again. Before we step into his morning, his meetings, his rituals, we need to understand the scale of the world around him. Because Putin does not live like a president. He does not live like a billionaire. He lives like a czar of the modern age, surrounded by an empire of private assets, luxury retreats, hidden estates, and security bubbles so impenetrable they might as well be separate planets. Let's start with the crown jewel, the Black Sea Palace, an estate the size of a kingdom, a $1 billion labyrinth of Italian marble, French furniture, and gold trim, private theaters, secret tunnels, a casino, a vineyard larger than some European towns, and beneath it, underground bunkers and security floors designed to withstand siege. This palace alone is enough to make oligarchs gasp, but it's only one tile in the mosaic. The Sochi residence, hanging above the Black Sea coastline, with private cliffs, helicopter pads, and an infinity pool built into the mountain itself. Novo Ogaryovo, the Moscow stronghold. A riverside compound where decisions over nations are made across long wooden tables carved with double-headed eagles. The Valdai Estate. A private forest kingdom filled with lakes, chapels, villas, and a high-tech wellness retreat built exclusively for him and his inner circle. The armored train. Then, the most mysterious asset of all. Not a yacht, not a jet, but a high-speed, bulletproof, satellite-shielded armored train that moves silently across Russia, with no schedule, no broadcast, no way for satellites to track it. Inside it, a private medical suite, a gym, luxury lounges, and encrypted communication lines. This is how he travels the country without ever being seen. The private air fleet. A dozen jets modified with defense systems powerful enough to create their own electronic bubbles in the sky, disabling radar and muting signal tracking. The car fleet armored Oris limousines capable of withstanding RPGs and chemical attacks, wrapped in titanium armor and glass thicker than a fist. And the inner circle. Not just people, but billionaires, oligarchs, and lifelong loyalists who manage assets, companies, estates, and offshore empires, so that nothing is ever tied to his name. This is the world he wakes up in every morning. A world built not just for comfort, but for untouchability. Now that you understand the playground, let's step into a day inside it. The morning does not begin with an alarm clock. There is no rush, no traffic, no noise. Putin wakes late, typically near midday, because his real work often continues long into the night. But when he wakes, his surroundings are already moving. Security teams have been up for hours. Chefs are already preparing a breakfast sourced from private farms hundreds of kilometers away. Doctors stand on call in a nearby corridor, and his aides wait silently with folders of intelligence reports. This is not an apartment. It is a command center disguised as a palace. The breakfast ritual. His morning begins with a meal tailored for longevity. Porridge or quail eggs, fresh juice, cottage cheese, honey from private apiaries, wild berries flown in from controlled agricultural estates. Everything organic, everything tested, everything pure. Because nothing in this world is casual. The swim next comes a defining ritual, one of the most unique among global leaders. Putin swims for nearly 2 hours, not in a public pool, not in a hotel spa, but in a climate-controlled, marble-lined private swimming hall inside one of his many residences. He swims in silence. No staff, no meetings. Only the rhythmic sound of water flowing around a man carrying the entire political weight of a continent. Some insiders say this is where he makes his biggest decisions. The gym. After the swim, he transitions into weight training, heavy lifting, stretching, cold water exposure, a longevity routine designed to maintain stamina and control well into his 70s. This is not for vanity, it is for dominance, because in Putin's world, weakness is never an option. The morning briefing, still in his athletic gear, he receives the first batch of briefings. But these are not PDFs or tablets. They are folders of paper, red, leather-bound, hand-delivered, and protected like state treasure. Inside them, overnight intelligence, military reports, energy forecasts, domestic threats, foreign analysis. Putin does not scroll. He reads, he underlines, he absorbs. His day has begun. Every powerful person has an office, but Putin has several. And they are all identical. Same desk, same chairs, same wall color, same flag placement, same lighting, same pen set. Why? So that no one, not a journalist, not an intelligence agency, not even his own ministers, can know where he actually is. Today, he may be in Moscow. Tomorrow, in Sochi. The next day, in a secret complex on the Valdai Lakes. But on video, it all looks the same. The work sessions. Putin's workday is not filled with endless meetings. Instead, he holds carefully curated sessions with only the most trusted insiders. Defense ministers, energy CEOs, security chiefs, economic advisors. Each meeting takes place around a long, polished table built to project distance and dominance. The decision room. Inside these offices, Putin decides gas supply levels that affect Europe military tactics, that shift entire regions' foreign policy stances, that determine global tension, domestic policies that shape 140 million lives. This is where power concentrates, into the hands of a single man. The information bubble. Unlike tech billionaires who live plugged into data streams, Putin works inside a controlled information universe. No social media, no public internet, only encrypted lines and hand-delivered intelligence. This gives his day an unusual rhythm, a blend of timelessness and hyper-focus. Most world leaders travel by jet, some by helicopter, a few by bulletproof limousine. But Putin's preferred method is something out of a Cold War thriller. The armored ghost train. A train with no listed schedule, no tracking number, no public stops. It is armored, satellite shielded, electronic warfare equipped, faster than any commercial train in Russia. Inside it, soft-lit lounges, a private gym, a medical center, and secure communication channels wired directly to the Kremlin's nerve center. Putin uses this train to move between his palaces, without ever appearing on flight radars. It is the ultimate symbol of invisible power, to be everywhere, yet seen nowhere. For outsiders, it's a myth. For insiders, it's a moving fortress. And for Putin, it is freedom without exposure. As the afternoon unfolds, Putin's world becomes more social, but only within a circle so small it could fit around a single dinner table. The loyalist circle. Unlike celebrities who surround themselves with friends, Putin surrounds himself with operators, billionaires who run industries, intelligence veterans, military strategists, childhood friends who now manage offshore empires. They meet him in private dining rooms with table settings worth more than a luxury car. The true power network. These are the people who carry out the invisible architecture of the state, moving assets offshore, managing palaces, maintaining private jets, running media networks, coordinating political influence abroad. They are the veins of a circulatory system built around him. And these meetings, often undocumented, unfilmed, and unspoken in public, are where the most consequential decisions of the modern era are shaped. The private dinners. Dinner is often simple: fish, vegetables, natural foods, but the setting is not. Picture a hand-carved wooden dining hall lit by chandeliers, guarded by dozens of security personnel outside the walls. Soft classical music, flawless table service, guests who have passed layers of medical and security screening. This is not social entertainment. This is empire maintenance. As evening develops, Putin's world becomes quieter. No crowds, no public dinners, no late-night city life. Instead, he withdraws into a realm of controlled calm. The lonely walk. A walk through a private garden patrolled by armed guards hidden in the trees. A moment where nature exists only for him. The private chapel. Inside the Valdai residence sits a small chapel where he sometimes retreats alone for reflection or solitude. The night work. But this quiet does not mean rest. In fact, some of Putin's most serious work happens after sunset. More briefing folders, more intelligence summaries, more calls with military chiefs or foreign ministers or energy executives. He is nocturnal by workflow. His day does not end. It fades into another cycle of responsibility and paranoia and control. Behind diplomacy, behind media and speeches and cameras, there is still a human being. But in Putin's case, almost nothing of that human life is visible to the world. The protected family. His children and personal relationships exist in a separate universe shielded by layers of secrecy. They do not appear in public. They do not give interviews. Their identities are guarded like nuclear codes. The inner sanctuary. Some evenings may involve conversation with one or two loved ones, but even that remains under the shadow of medical screening, privacy checks, and restricted staff access. In the world of immense power, intimacy becomes a luxury, and privacy becomes a fortress. By the time the world sleeps, Putin is still awake, reviewing files, thinking through strategy, contacting advisors, reading intelligence. His world is not measured in hours, but in crises and decisions and moments of control. He sleeps late, sometimes only a few hours. And then, another day begins, just as silent, just as controlled, just as fortified as the last. So now we return to the question, what does power look like when the entire world turns away? It looks like a palace carved into a cliff, a train that travels without a schedule, a man who swims alone in the morning and commands an army by night. It looks like loneliness wrapped in gold, discipline forged into habit, paranoia disguised as routine, and luxury built not for pleasure, but for control. This is the private day of one of the most powerful men on Earth. A day inside a world so complex, so secret, so meticulously controlled that most people will never fully comprehend it. But now, you have seen a glimpse into a life where every sunrise comes with a briefing, every footstep echoes inside a fortress, and every night is another page in the silent architecture of global power. This is the world behind the man. This is inside Putin's daily life.